A few weeks ago, we visited the Amazon Spheres, part of the tech giant's headquarters in Seattle. We met the people behind its voice recognition tool Alexa and saw what else we'll be talking to soon. As the tech gets better, it could one day become the way that we interact with our devices. Now that prompted this question from a viewer.
Voice recognition software, fantastic. But it means technology blocking deaf people from assisting it. Because when the software talks, we can't hear it. Also, it doesn't recognise the voice.
Thanks, Simon. That's a really good point. And yeah, Apple HomePod gives some control to deaf users through the use of a touchpad, but nowhere near enough to really use it. Google's Assistant can control a smart device by typing requests on a smartphone, and the Captions feature is available on the versions of Alexa with a screen. News, weather, and timers can be activated with a tap. All of this is quite basic, so Abhishek Singh has decided to show them how it could be done. He's created a simple algorithm to do this. The camera sees what he signs and turns it into text that Alexa can understand and respond to. Now, it only does a few words, but the point is to inspire the big companies into action. Last month, Google released a couple of new accessibility apps for deaf users who use its Android devices, and Lara and Click trainee Maddie have been putting them to the test.
I lost my hearing when I was 7, and after that, about a year after that, I got a cochlear implant, which has helped me a lot, but even now in certain situations, I find it really hard to hear. So when I'm in noisy cafes or in a dinner party, my hearing isn't the best.
Well, we've deliberately come to a coffee shop where there's real everyday noise all around us to demonstrate these. Maddie here has been testing them in various different environments. We're going to start off with Google Live Transcribe. And it does what it says, instantly and simply creating a script of your conversation. It can do so in 70 languages and dialects, with quite impressive accuracy, it seems.
Yeah, it seems to do really, really well with people talking, and with one or two people talking, it works really well. Obviously, the further away you get from it, the worse it gets, and the closer you get, the more accurate it becomes.
So the underlying technology is automatic speech recognition technology, and what that is that's a way of us taking all sorts of known speech from recordings and basically training algorithms on top of it so that it learns all of the nuances, all of the context that we understand as people. It's not going to be perfect. No machine is ever going to be as good as people at doing this. So in terms of like really, unique vernacular or slang or accent, it may struggle with that.
We also have here Google's Sound Amplifier app. You need to attach a pair of headphones to the device, and from there it can turn up the volume on different elements of what you're listening to. So it may be the quieter background noise that you want to make louder, whilst keeping the main sound you're listening to at the time, which could be some music, at the same volume. Now, how useful did you find this was, Maddie?
I thought it was quite cool that you could play music and still hear stuff from the outside world at the same time.
The phone's microphone picks up the ambient sound, and from there, machine learning and artificial intelligence isolate the elements. That could make it possible to, say, make speech louder and the sound of an air conditioning unit quieter.
But for people with worse hearing, it will be much more useful because it just boosts that noise around you. So when you're less comfortable with your hearing, it gives you that little bit of security that you can have that little bit of extra volume. It took me a good half an hour of just focusing on the app, playing with all the toggles because it builds into your settings on your phone. So it took me a while to find the right settings for me.
These are what I would call accessibility first applications, in that we're not taking an existing product and making it more accessible. We're making, in both cases, the real world more accessible using these technologies that exist on the smartphone and in the cloud today.
Of course, there are other apps developed for the deaf and hard of hearing too. Ava 24/7 was released in 2016. It's a voice recognition and transcription app for group conversations, say around a dinner table. Everyone downloads it, speaks into their phone, and will have their words transcribed and name tagged.
Compared to the live transcriber app, it's not as fast and it's not as accurate. And if you want to read it, you'll have to have it in front of your face as well.
Yeah.
But it does correct itself a lot of the time.
A big game changer was back in 2014 when the first hearing aids that had the ability to communicate with an iPhone came out. That then opened up many possibilities because you've not just got the processing power of the hearing aid, you've got the processing power of a smartphone as well.
Apple added similar functionality to their AirPods last year with Live Listen, allowing you to place your phone or iPad near the sounds you want amplified. And now Starkey, one of the leading hearing aid brands, will be adding fall detection and a virtual assistant to their device that already features live translation and activity tracking. A live translation feature is promised, along with activity tracking and an app to host a whole lot of data.
It looks at your constant communication with other people, and therefore it's measuring how much social interaction you're having. And there are also sensors inside the hearing aid, so motion sensors inside the hearing aid, which are looking at how much movement you've got. There has been found to be a relationship between cognitive decline and hearing health.
But when it comes to Google's latest releases, even if they're not proving quite perfect yet, they do harness the power of the fiercest weapon most of us have on us all the time.